Welcome back, everyone, to the Jersey Joe Show, place where we talk about a little bit of everything, but mostly hockey. And this is where I do the weekend review. I talk about really how the Devils have been doing the past couple of days. Not a lot going on in terms of games. The last two games we had were against Ottawa on Friday and then Coyotes on Saturday. But we haven't had much since then. It's been a bit of a slow week. So this is going to be a bit of a short one. So let's just get right to it. So the game on Friday was actually one that I attended. It was an interesting game, especially because we let those 2 goals in late. I'm not comfortable with the way we're winning games. I'm really not. I have yet to see a game that I guess you can call it the game against Buffalo, but I have yet to see a game where we win 4-1 or 3-1 or 3-0, where we're really just dominating the game. What I'm seeing is us dominating for stretches, letting in a couple of soft goals or taking too many penalties and getting hit down on the power play. And we're spending the rest of the game fighting back, and then we win it in overtime, or we score a couple in the end of the third period, like we did in the Ottawa game 2 weeks ago. And they're just not dominant performances, and that worries me. I want to make sure that this is sustainable, and right now I'm not sure if it is. And I know I've talked about this before, but you can't go into every game and expect to go down 2-0 in the first, come back 4-2, let in 2 more goals, make it 4-4, and then win in a shootout in the 4th or 5th round of the shootout. That's not sustainable. Yes, Ottawa is a great team. They're probably going to be going to the playoffs again, most likely going to at least the second round, if not the Eastern Conference Finals. So they're a good team, and I'm okay with that happens. But when you let it happen with the Coyotes the next day, and yeah, there's stipulations. We didn't have Green in. We had a couple of injuries. Palmieri's not in. Schneider had his first game back from injury. I get that there's a lot of reasons why we weren't completely 100% against the Coyotes. But we can't let them make it such a close game. We can't be down 3-2 in the third and have to win 4-3 against a team that's now 1-11-1. You can't let that happen to a team like that. And so when going forward, I don't know if... Again, I've been saying this since Game 3. I feel like the next game is when the wheels are going to fall off completely, and they haven't yet. I guess that's just the type of team we are. We are completely offensively loaded, and we have bottom-of-the-barrel defensemen. I mean, even Andy Green now is losing a step. He's not as great of a 1D as he used to be. And so there's a lot of questions, mainly with the defense and by extension with the goalie situation, because Schneider has looked sharp, but his stats are awful. He has a .909 and a save percentage and above a 3.0 goals against. So he's 5-1-0, but his stats are definitely not a 5-1-0 caliber goalie by any means. And so we saw just 2 close games where we used our offense. We were able to really outcoach the other team, and we used our speed to really tire them out and make a couple of good shots when it counts. But I don't know what that's going to look like in the future. I would really love to see like a 3-0 shutout sometime this week in Western Canada, just to solidify this team is for real. This is how we're going to be playing the rest of the season. I want to see Hischier start scoring again, because he's a bit streaky. He's on the top line, so he's facing top line defenders. I understand that. I don't think he's underperforming by any means, but I do think that he has it in him to start putting up more points. Brott, again, is now on fire. He may be another streaky scorer. Butcher's kind of been slow a bit, but everyone else has stepped up. Hayes stepped up on Friday. You had a number of different goal scorers. Gibbons on Friday. On Saturday, Taylor Hall kind of took over the entire game. So you're seeing really all 4 lines scoring. And that's something we haven't had in a while, and that's what's winning us games. You have your top line against their top pairing. Then the next shift, you have your second line, who now has Kyle Palmieri on it, Adam Henrique, and either Stafford or Bratt. They can't be stopped by your second or third pairing, so you need to put your top pairing up again. And then you're putting up a tired second or third pairing up against our third line, which is Pavel Zacha and Brian Gibbons and Jimmy Hayes. So you kind of can play with the matchups. You can really outcoach another team and force them into your system and tire them out. And we're seeing that. But what we're also seeing is our defense just doing a lot of gaffes. There's a lot of weird plays, and this is really going back to the San Jose game. There was a blind pass high into the slot, straight into a San Jose player, and they just rocketed past Kincaid. And I'm seeing plays like that more and more. Luckily, they're not losing us games, but they're going to. Our stats, again, are not great. They're not sustainable. Our Corsi and our Fenwicks are well below where we should be. We're overperforming. Our shooting percentages are in the high teens, if not in the 20s. So everything is pointing towards this team is really overachieving. Luckily, a lot of other teams seem to be having the same issue. Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, St. Louis, they're all in the same realm of really strange stats and really great records. The Kings are the only ones who are really dominating possession, and that's just by nature of who they are. But for the rest of the teams in the top of the league, they're being outshot. They're being outperformed on a consistent basis, and they're winning games. Whereas the Coyotes, as you saw, are outperforming almost every team they play, and they're losing. The only team they beat was Philadelphia, and they won it in overtime. But they let in 2 goals in the last 2 minutes on Monday night. So it's a very strange season. I think the Devils are kind of hitting the timing right in terms of just when they're coming together for this. But I am concerned about 10, 15 games down the line, what our record's going to look like. Hopefully, if we're 18-2-2, 22 games in, that's a fantastic record. But I don't know if we're going to win the next 10 games that we play. It's a bit of a crapshoot, even more so than it was at the beginning of the season. Now we're going on road trips. We're playing against Western teams. We haven't played against Pittsburgh. We haven't played against St. Louis. We haven't played against any of the top dogs beyond the Lightning and Toronto. But there's still a couple of better teams in the East that we need to match up against that I think will kind of take advantage of all of our defensive lapses and really punish us. And I'm not looking forward to that. So I'm hoping within the next few days, especially now against Vancouver and a struggling Edmonton, we start just seeing a bit more cohesive defensive effort. As much as I love the 5-4, 6-5 games that we've been playing, I really would like a game where we just single-handedly dominate. We outshoot them 35-28 and we win 4-0 or 3-0. I want to see Schneider get a shutout. I want to see those stats drop. I want to see something sustainable because right now I don't see that. But every game, again, I've been saying this and they've been outperforming. So I'm filming this about 2 hours before the Vancouver game now. So I'm not even going to talk about that. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing Bo Horvath. I'm looking forward to seeing the Sedin twins. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Brian Boyle plays because this is his first game back from cancer treatment back in the offseason. And I'm hoping that gives the team a bit of a push. I know it's making me incredibly excited for a 10 o'clock middle of the season Western road trip game at 10 o'clock at night. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Brian Boyle play. And then we'll see when they get back from Western Canada what this team looks like. We got a couple of tougher games coming up down the stretch. I just want to see a more sustainable defense. I don't know if it's possible with the roster we have. I think Santini's coming into his own. I think he's going to make a case to be the 1D. I have been pulling for him as a dark horse to be an absolutely wonderful defenseman on our blue line. And I think he's finally figuring that out. I don't know why anyone's talking about it. He is, I think, if not number 1, he's number 2 in ice time for defenders, Andy Green being the only one above him. And even some games, Santini's playing more than Green. And he also has more defensive zone starts and penalty killing time. It's the writing's on the wall that Santini is our best defenseman right now. And he's so young, and I don't know why it's not being talked about. But that's a video for another day, because I'm actually running out of time. I am filming something after this, before the game. I'll get into more details later, but it's something that's really awesome. It's been in the works for a couple weeks now, so I'm really excited about it. It does pertain to Devils hockey, but I'm not going to say anything else about it. So As always, stay tuned. You guys will hear from me very soon about this new project, and I think you guys are going to like it. So take care.